Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name's Penny. I live in Central Illinois and I'm a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. And, oh my gosh, today is Friday, September 27th. This is about take 4 because my iPad decided to stop videoing because evidently I've got too much stuff on it. And for those of you who know me, I know a little bit, not a lot, and so I had to go and get rid of some things. And so I'm hoping that this time it'll all go through. So I probably shouldn't mess around and I should get right to it, right? So anyway, it's Friday. It is almost the end of September here in Central Illinois. It's cloudy. It's windy. It's 71 degrees. We're supposed to get like 30-mile-an-hour winds. And it's cool. It's a nice breeze finally blowing in. I'm okay with that because I'm wearing some wool and alpaca today on my finished object. So I'm going to try and skirt through all this and then, figure out what's going on. So for those of you who know our friend in Tampa who's on Zoom on Saturday nights with us, she's doing okay. She came through it unscathed, the hurricane. So wow, I watched a lot of videos last night late of people out and about in Cedar Cay area. Oh my gosh, it's just, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Wow. So I hope if that is you, that you are doing okay, and I hope that all is well. So, excuse me, let's get to some knitting because that's what you're here for, right? And I have a mess all over the place because I've been through this, a couple of times. But anyway, let's start with our giveaway. Thank you, everybody who commented last time on some options for some healthy eating and places that I should go. I appreciate it so much. I got a lot of good ideas on some yogurts that I'm going to try and some other things. And so I just want to share today the winner of the bag, random number. This is a sandy bag with that lovely vinyl bottom. And this is going to go out to Susan Hardiman, 1327, who suggested the Minimalist Baker online website. And cool thing about this is it wasn't just about baking. And I particularly want to investigate a little bit further the 25 fall dinner ideas. That's my hardest thing, is going into winter season doing dinners, because I'm a creature of habit for my breakfast and my lunch and do the same thing. So I'm looking forward to investigating that thing. So Susan, if you will email me at pjknitspodcast@gmail.com or Instagram, I'm PJKnits. If you will DM me with your address, I will get your bag out to you next week in the mail. So thank you, everybody who gave me wonderful ideas, and it's worth checking out. So let's start with hashtag PJ Knits the Season 2024. And I have a finished object in the way of socks. You saw one of them last time on the podcast, and this time I have the second one done. Unfortunately, this yarn is no longer being dyed. It is Barking Dog yarns in their Opposite Attracts colorway. And excuse me. And so it's no longer out there. It's Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And this is the sock pattern that I used, and all of my information, on this sock is on my project page on PJ Knits 1 in Ravelry. But the pattern for this, I did a Thursday night live knit along with Amanda from Chronicles of Yarnia podcast, the Yarnia shop out east. And she did a kind of a tutorial, 3 weeks, 3 Thursdays in a row. And it's still out there under their lives that you can check it out. So I followed along with her. I always wanted to try a sock with this doing the rib. And so I followed along her pattern and her information on there. I knit this with a size 2 needle. And I've talked about this before on Zoom, I know, and other places, but I've knit a lot of socks. I have a drawer full of them. Friend Norma received 2 a year, one for Hanukkah, one for her birthday. So I've knit a lot of socks. They were all vanilla socks. They were all the same sock over and over. And so going forward, I also did a couple of Susan B. Anderson's for me, her How I Knit My Socks. And I found last couple years when I was wearing them a lot in the wintertime, that I wasn't super, super happy with my needle size. I love knitting the socks. I love wearing them, but on a size 2 needle, they were just too loose. By the end or midday, they were so loose on my foot that I love them. They were comfortable, but they just weren't comfortable in a boot or shoe. They kind of were getting very sloppy. So my goal for this year and into next year is to perfect that, go back and really find the right size needle and everything and amount of stitches that I want to do. So kind of in this, thought process of knitting my socks as it goes along, I did this on a size 2, and I can tell already it's going to be very loose. So it's not my fave. I have some out there that are on a size 1, a couple that I knit there. I liked them, but I thought they were too dense. I didn't like the feel. And so on suggestion of my friend Annetta, I am knitting my next one on a 1.5, and I'll talk about those in just a little bit as well. So these were in 50-gram skeins. There was a skein of red and a skein of green, and these used 33 grams of each. I did a 5.5 to the heel flap and gusset. I prefer a 6.5. I like to have it a little bit longer than that. And yes, I did a heel flap and gusset on these. It's one I've been using forever. And then for the toes, I used a variation of Noelle from Knits and Pieces, her rounded toe. And I know that Kelly does a rounded toe as well. And so they had that information on a couple of their knit chats a couple of weeks ago. So I did a rounded toe, and I think I like this. This was the first real rounded toe I ever did. I was always a wedge toe sock person, so I'm experimenting with that as well. But again, all the information for these socks will be under my PJKnits 1. That's where my projects are on Ravelry. The group itself on Ravelry is PJKnits. So two different thoughts. And I talked about a little bit on my Instagram, which is also PJKnits. So that's the first one. Second one up for the holidays, I cast on even before I finished those, because I got it in the mail that I ordered some yarn from Turtlepurl and got some of her striped turtle toes yarn in the Bewitched colorway. And so I had cast on that even before. I got my 1.5 needles, and I cast on it even before I finished my other ones. And if you remember last time, this is where I was at, where little Snoopy is. He does not want to stay. It doesn't matter which way I put him on there. You never get to see how cute he is. There you are. But that's where I was last time I podcasted. And so then I have been knitting on this, and I mostly knit on this yesterday and last night while I was watching the hurricane videos on YouTube. So I did a 1.5 inch. I'm just playing around with a different style of sock back. Again, 64 stitches on a 1.5 double point needle. So, and I'm doing a heel flap and gusset. Did not even think about doing a contrast in heels and toes until I got further down, and I'm okay with that. So, and yes, I have tried Magic Loop. I'm a double point needle girl when it comes to my socks. I don't have a problem with that. I tried hard, but so I'm loving these, and I'm sure that I'll be knitting on those more as it goes along, because my goal is to have them done, here in the next couple of weeks, so that I can wear them, for Halloween and into the fall. So I'm kind of wondering how your holiday knitting is going. Not necessarily gifts, because I'm not doing any of those, I don't think. Real gifts for Christmas. So I'm wondering how you're preparing for holidays. And not only knitting for the holidays does not have to be just for those holidays like Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, but what about Halloween, Thanksgiving, Easter. It's all about the knitting, the holidays, whichever you want to go for. So just furthering a little bit on the socks, we are coming to the end of the third quarter of the Mistletoes giveaway, and we do that all year long. Every quarter I pick a random sock number from the PJKnits group on Ravelry under Mistletoes, the thread. So don't forget to post your finished objects, your socks that you're doing for the third quarter, which is coming at the end, and I will announce the winner of that next time. And by the way, don't you love this cup? It's wonderfully cute. I do not do pumpkin spice very often. It's not a super favorite of mine. I don't run out and get it at Starbucks, but I occasionally get the creamer. And with the coolness today, the wind makes it seem, as they say, a little bit cooler than normal. So it says it's 70s outside, but they say it feels like with the winds more like in the 60s. So when I get home from running some errands this afternoon, I'm going to pop in one of my fall coffees and that I get from Door County, and I can't wait till they open up their Advents for this year, because I got an Advent from them last year. I bought one. Year before I got one as a gift. Last year I bought one, and then this year I'm going to buy another one for myself, because I love doing that during that's the kind of Advent that I enjoy doing. So I still have a couple left from last year, and so I'm going to pull one of the fall ones and have that this afternoon and into the evening, and I'm going to go upstairs and just catch up on my podcast, because I spent so much time yesterday on on hurricane videos. So anyway, I just love my cup. It was a gift from one of my friends. So anyway, so post your mistletoes, right? Now, I want to talk about a knit along. You know what October brings, right? October brings the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. And guess what? I'm not doing it. No, I'm not. I like Stephen West, but I'm not going to devote that kind of time to his knit along. I tried a couple of years ago, and it's just it just wasn't for me. But I do appreciate those of you who are going to do it, and I love to follow along and see your colorways and all of that. And a lot of times, like others, I maybe make that decision after it started. But this year I'm not. But this year I am going to participate in a knit along, a mystery knit along, all the same, in October. And this is being run by Darcy from Chitchat Knits, and also the Knitters Brewing Company. She is doing a MKAL. It's called Better Than Fiction MKAL, and it's hosted through Chitchat Knits, her podcast. Met Darcy in July at the Makers Meetup in person. Been following her for some time, and she is doing a mystery knit along, which is a shawl as well. And I think this one will be a lot more calmer than if I was doing the Stephen West. And so, just to get you a flash on here, here's what the page looks like. And I love this, and the reason I love it is because this mystery shawl for fiction lovers is presented in a series of 6 clues. It was designed as a collaboration between Knitters Brewing Company and Chitchat Knits. In celebration of the project theme, these 2 designers and avid readers will be donating the proceeds from pattern sales to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. And as it happens, our library just took up this partnership with Dolly Parton just like a day before this came out. And I know that my youngest grandson is partaking in this. And what it is Dolly Parton started this in 1995. She has a love of reading, and she wanted to share that love of reading with others, young children out there. And like I said, my local library just became an affiliate. And so my grandson is taking advantage of this. What this does is this Imagination imagination library is it gifts books free of charge to children between the ages of birth to 5 years old. They receive in the mail a book each month. And I am such a proponent of reading. If I wasn't knitting a lot, I would be reading. And it's not unusual for me to have 3 different books that I'm reading at the same time. A fluff book that's in my Vera Bradley thing, and this is from a stash of books that I had during the pandemic that a friend of mine would always give me bags full. She was an average reader of fluff. And I remember when my mom was alive and my aunt, I would read these fluff books, and never thought my mom would be one of those people who would read those, but I started passing them on to her, and then she passed them on to my aunt, and then to another aunt who read them until she couldn't because of losing her eyesight. So reading is so important to me, whether it's a fluff book or I read, I also have a book that I read for inspiration to me, and then I have a third book that I'm currently reading right now, a Jodi Picoult book, Small Great Things, that I need while I'm reading this. I need a fluff book because this is some very some things that just get to you, right? And you just need a little fluff to go with it because the inhumanity of people, the racism, is going on in this book. And so anyway, I need a little fluff in conjunction with that and with my inspiration. So I am an avid reader, and my mother was as well. And so I go in spurts. I read a lot of stuff, and then I'm knitting a lot. And so I am happy that right now 2 of my grandchildren read. My oldest granddaughter is an avid reader and is always reading, and my grandson as well, and not as much as my older granddaughter. So I'm a proponent. Yes, we need to read whatever it is. And so anyway, I am going to participate in this MKAL. I will put a thread up on later this weekend. I will put a thread up on the Ravelry PJKnits group about this, and I would be happy to gift somebody who comments below before it starts. I would be happy to gift one of these patterns as well via Ravelry. So anyway, comment below, and in the next few days I will pick a winner before the date. The first one, the cast on release date is October 7th. So in the next week, I will reach out to somebody if you comment below that you are interested in participating in the MKAL as well. I hope others will do this as well and follow along in the Ravelry group, and also Chitchat knits in her Ravelry group as well, and check out her podcast. There are kits available from Up North Yarns as well, and I will link all this information down below for those of you who want to check it out. It's done on a size 4 needle, and you only need 3 skeins of fingering weight, and it was so appropriate. I was trying to figure out what to do with some yarn, and if you remember, I had done a swatch, Kate Davies, and I did not follow through with that, so I did a swatch, and I was trying to decide what to do with some of the yarns that I had purchased for that, and I decided that I'm going to pull these 3 and try that out. These are Cascade Heritage, and they're super, super soft. So those are going to be my 3 colors. She suggests not to use a super dark one because the patterning won't show well. So stay tuned on that. I'm looking forward to that knit starting October 7th, and I hope you'll join me with that. In this I think, a very great cause. This is funded totally by Dolly Parton and her community partners in the U.S., Canada, UK, Australia, and Ireland. So I would love for you to join us in that 6-week knit along, and tell me what you're reading. I always love new ideas for reading as well. So wonderful. Okay, just one little mail call is all I got. I am expecting a couple for the next time. One of them's coming from Shetland. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a whole nother story we'll talk about later. But anyway, I love March and September. My wool gathering from Schoolhouse Press comes out, and I love getting this mail. So this was the only one I got. I want to knit this. It is the Norwegian blue cardigan. It is steeked, but it's not happening right away because I have 2 or 3 color work things on the needles that really need to get off the needles before. So anyway, I love to do that. It's out of Cubicois yarn and steeked, but it's just not happening. But that's my mail call. I love it. I love it when it comes out, for sure. Okay. Next up, hashtag PJKnits Sweater Project. I am knitting winter sweaters right now, and I have a finished object. First one up I want to show you is Helmi. I've been knitting on this for some time. Here is the original, and I want to call your attention to that, getting it close. That is, the contrast is white and brown in there for sure. And then the navy. This is by Isabel Kramer. This is out of 52 weeks of Easy Knits. Yes, I am getting my money's worth out of this book. There are several sweaters that I have knit out of this, several more projects that will be coming this winter out of it. So I am loving this book, and it now is out in paperback as well. So, you know, I've knit this one off the cover, and it's just, I can say I'm getting my money's worth out of this book for sure. So that's out of that. It is Helmi, and I'm going to share just a little bit of information out of this. It is, like I said, it's an Isabel Kramer. Mine is knit out of Jody Long Alba, which is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. And I used about just shy of 1,200 yards of the main color. I purchased more than I needed, and I have a couple extra skeins. The contrast is also, and if you'll see closer, and maybe in Instagram, there's a little speck of green here and the blue, and I did not use much of it. I used Jody Long Alba for it as well. On the pattern, she suggests that 2 things. You can go back and do the rib on it or just leave it like this. And I decided once I was done that I just wanted to leave it as is. A couple of things. I didn't want to go back. And knit. When, you know, I was like done and ready to move on. And so I just left it, and I like it this way. I like it just the way it is. I cast on the size 40, finished 40, which is the number 2, onto a size 4 needle to start with. And then I switched to a 5 needle. I picked up quite a few extra stitches underneath the arm, as I always do, and did my normal to the almost elbow, and then calculated the decreases via worldknits.com, and I'll link that below, and then finished up. The one thing that I will say about it when I was done is that the sleeves in blocking did grow. So I'm going to go back and at some point in time, not soon because I'm okay with wearing it the way it is, but I would like to go back and take that sleeve out and move it back. I really am going to try really hard going forward to go back to my thought process of cutting those sleeves off before my watch, because I like to be able to, I don't want to have to make it known that I'm looking at my watch, but I do like that just above right there. I think that's just conducive for knitting and other things. So pretty much knit according to the pattern. And like I said, if you get really close in some of the pictures, you can see the green there. And I really loved it. So this is my finished object. You can see the sleeves are a little bit long and growing as it is, but I do like that. And later on Instagram, I'll have a picture, you know, I'll do the whole, so you can see it on the body as it's moving. But I'm super glad that this particular one is finished. It's one of those that, you know, the whole time you're knitting on it, I want to be done with it so that I can move on. And that's kind of what I've done as well. So next up, I just want to call your attention to a transitional knit. This is from last year. And I've got quite a few things going on here. This is from last year, and I wanted to share it again with you because this would be a good transitional knit right now. And this is the Pampas Tee. This is the Pampas Tee by Samantha Guerin, and I knit this last year. And I'm going to show you her pattern. A couple of things about it. If you will notice here, she has just left it like I did on mine, just a little bit roll back. I went back on mine and decided that I wanted a rib to it, so I put a rib at the top as well. You will also notice on her pattern that it's a short sleeve sweater. Perfect sweater for you to make for next summer to wear over dresses or ever. Dresses or whatever. And I decided, I knitted out a Pearl Soho linen quill from PYS. And what I decided that I wanted to do was out of this Celadon blue. Celadon blue? I'm sorry. Vintage Celadon is the colorway. And I had enough skeins in this, and I thought it would make a perfect transitional sweater. And so I decided that I wanted to knit this in a 3/4 sleeves, and so I did that. Again, all of the notes on this is on my Ravelry PJKnits 1 page of what I did to make it this long. The finished measurement on it is a 40-inch, and I did a 23-inch back neck to hem. And I just like everything about this. And this one I used just shy of 1,100 yards of the Pearl Soho linen quill, the light, the kind of fingering weight. And I really wanted it, PYS, and I wanted to use it. I love this. I love this sweater. It's perfect. It's going to be perfect for going into fall and wearing. And not too bad up here on the neck as far as the lace goes. You certainly could just wear it with a bra underneath. I just always leave my little dress on there on my gals. So I just really like this one. I wanted to share this from last year as a transitional piece. Making note that you can take any sleeveless, short sleeve project or pattern that's in your library and just lengthen that sleeve, which I love to do because, again, I like things that come down, and I like to have sweaters to wear for all of the seasons. In keeping with the sweater projects and my sweater knitting, I have some whips to show you. What I will say is these are not my only sweater thoughts. I have a bag full of sweater quantities and patterns percolating in my brain that are upstairs. And so I can't wait. I'm in that sweater knitting thought process. I'm going to just share really quickly with you the ones that are my active sweater whips. This sweater whip is, I've shown you before, this is Bermy Basic 18 from Beth McDonald Stone. This is where I was last time. This is where I was last time. My little marker there. And has not gotten a whole lot of, let's say, a whole lot of progress in it. But this is my Zoom knittings, because it's just round and around right now. I've split. And so it's just around and around and around. This is Bermy Basic 18 by Beth McDonald Stone. And there we go. So again, it's one of my Zoom. It's just something that I use during Zoom knitting. And it's out of Rowan felted tweed from PYS, and so I'm just making it just like that, and it's going to be that super comfy, warm sweater for in the wintertime for bopping around or just sitting around knitting or whatever. But so that only gets progress on it during Zooms. That's what I'm kind of earmarking that one for. Next up is what's supposed to be my yarn shop knitting, but I'm having a little bit of fun with it as well. And it is the Flax sweater by PJKnits. We'll just put that out there. I'm sure that you're familiar with that one. And I put this on I'm in the process of putting this onto a bigger needle because it was just getting too scrunchy. You saw it a couple of times before, but here's the scope of it. I'm going to just throw it here. Very out of my color range, but I had this Carol Sunday yarn was in my PYS for some time, and I wanted to use it for something else, and decided that that it would do well with the flax, and I'm just loving this. It is one of Carol Sunday's yarns. Hold on, a thought process here. With you here. It is, well, I don't have the thing in there yet. I will link it down below. It is a Carol Sunday yarn. It's a 5-ply. It's one of her 5-plies and a strand of Cumulus. Suri Stratus. I'm sorry, it's not Cumulus. It's Suri Stratus from my local yarn shop. It's a 68% Suri alpaca and 32% nylon. It's a Plymouth yarn. Sorry, it's Plymouth. And it's in the colorway lavender. And so I'm putting those two together. And I love this. And again, I apologize. I will link the yarn below. I thought I had put it in there, but I did not. So that's where I was a couple of weeks ago. My little marker there is where I was at. So I haven't done a whole lot on it. I'm doing the increases. So that is the second whip. That is earmarked for knitting at the shop because one of those yarns came from there. And then finally, I needed something in between the super easy and the going to the shop. I needed something to use my brain because, and I was doing a sock, right? And so I was like, I needed something to stimulate. That's the word I was looking for. And I bought some yarn from Hedgehog Fibres, her Tweedy in Moonlight. And I showed this before when I got it. And so I had done my swatch. You all know that I always swatch. And so I cast on Andrea Mowry, Winter's Beach Cardi. This is the actual yarn she designed it out of. Just I'm using a different colorway. And because this is, yes, charted, sometimes you have to, keep your wits about you when you're doing it. So I cast on it as a project that I just wanted to do when I just needed a little brain thing. And so I've just, I showed you before. Where was I? There's where I was last time. I just started the rib. Well, now I've done the rib, and now I'm heading into the cable portion of it. And you cannot see too much of that yet, right? But I am loving these little flecks that come across. That was the wind kicking something from the porch. It was like, But I'm loving this. I am loving this yarn for sure. For sure. Oh my gosh, I'm just loving it. I'm loving seeing that. And so it's very hard to put this down, but yeah. It's going to be a while before I get moving, get really going on it, but I'm having some fun with it. So those are the 3 sweater whips that I have that I'm concentrating on for a moment, just a moment in time. I wanted to say that I was a monogamous knitter. That's what I wanted to say to you all. I'm not. I've tried, but I'm trying really hard to be monogamous, kind of, sort of. I will never be a monogam. Can't even say that. That's a sign that I'm not one of them. I'm never going to be that knitter who only knits on one project with one purchase of yarn. It's just not happening. That's not ever going to be me. So, because it's just not me. And to tell you, just to, full disclosure, I have at least 3 other that are on the needles upstairs that are sweaters. Not counting that bag of yarns that was taunting me on my bed. I put them in a bag so they couldn't talk to me, because it's like, you need to finish some sweaters. So I'm trying to be semi focused on my knitting. It's really super, super hard. And I have been dream knitting. I have been thinking about vests as well. And so I'm thinking about doing down the road, a couple of different episodes. One on vest ideas that are in my library, most importantly, and using PYS yarns that are in my PYS. And a couple of them that I'm just going to share is back from this book. This is Kreuzberg by Rebecca Mauser, and it's done out of worsted weight. And I just so happen to have, an assortment of Cascade 220, the woolly one, that I think that would be fun with that. So I'm thinking about that one. I have the Riptide vest that I saw Kelly and Noel did last year. I have this vest book I want to share with you. Here's another one I would like to use my Plutalope with from this one. This is called Diamond Hill. So my dream knitting is kind of like, I'm thinking about vests, wanting to knit some vests, for the upcoming season, as a little bit of a change. So I'm thinking about vests. I'm thinking about those sweater quantities that are in that bag that would be fun to do. There's a couple that I want to share. So I think the next couple of episodes is I'm kind of going to talk about those things that I really, that I would like to be knitting on. Other things, vests and yarns from PYS that might have a theme color going for them. That's what I noticed about those that bag of yarns that I want to maybe tackle for the winter. So, there is so very much a lot of knitting that I want to do. Boy, there's a nice breeze blowing. But it's keeping it cool here. So I hope that wherever you're at, you're having a great knitting season. I hope you're thinking about winter knits, because it'll be here. Next week's October 1st. Looking forward to that, and maybe finishing up your transitional knits, depending on where you live. So I hope you're all well, safe to those who are in the southern part of the United States. And I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. I am PJKnits, again, on Instagram, which I'm on there a lot. I am PJKnits1 is where my project pages are on Ravelry. Our group itself is just plain PJKnits. And I have a blog that some of the same things that are on Instagram show up on the blog at www.pjknits.blogspot.com. And I hope to see you all on one of those avenues. And I hope that you'll join us in the Chitchat Knits, the Better Than Fiction MKAL that's going to start next month as well. So, and if you're doing Stephen West, yay for you. I can't wait to see what you come up with and what the pattern goes and who's doing what. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Bye. Cheers.